Happy New Year. One of the benefits of having kids is we're up before everybody else. Not serviced my car for a while. It was due a month ago, and just over 1,000 Ks over it. Now I know some of you probably don't worry too much about getting it serviced on the reg, but for me, I've never really let a service go without, you know, it's always been done before it's due or before the due date. And I normally get it done in Midland, and I'm just gonna give this service a crack by taking it around to my brother's. So I've driven all the way to Freo, gonna meet him, and we're gonna do the job together. He obviously knows what he's doing. I don't really have any clue. So it's about time that I learn how to do these things. So we'll see how we go, eh? Now this has got nothing to do with the story, but don't ever trust your phone giving you directions when you don't update your address book, because I just went to his old address, which is a little bit awkward, so that wasted a bit of time. But I'm seeing Freo, that's for sure. Just pulling up outside now. Hopefully got the right address. I should really know, I've been here a few times, but he was just going to the survey. Let's see if he's in. No, Matty. That's alright. Just help myself in, find his fridge. Hope it's his house. Here we go. First up, we're just going to give the Lux a quick wash with some detergent to get some of the mud and grease out of the engine bay. I'm not too worried about being thorough here, as I'm no doubt going to be getting it filthy again in the near future. I always at the very least give the engine bay a hose with fresh water after every trip off-road to get rid of the salt, sand and mud. Now I should also mention that it's recommended that you remove the battery cables. So disconnect the negative cable first so you can't short the circuit. Once you've broken the circuit, remove the positive cable. I don't usually disconnect my battery, but that's because I'm lazy, and one day I'm sure I'll regret my negligence. While you're at your battery, check the terminals for corrosion. Most starting and charging problems occur from poor connections. Keeping your terminals clean and in good working order will extend the life of your battery, alternator and starter motor. I'll cover cleaning of batteries in another episode. Let's move on. Change your oil with a warm but not hot engine, as we're about to do. Unscrew the cap that you use to fill your engine with oil. That will prevent a vacuum being formed when you dump the oil out of the sump. Next, climb under your car and find the sump plug. Grab a closed ring spanner or socket to fit the plug. Usually a 14 to 17mm one will do the trick. And have something like a small container to put your sump plug in once you remove it. You'll also need an oil pan on hand to catch the oil as it pours out. Untighten with the spanner first and finish it off with your fingers to ensure you don't drop the plug into the oil pan, but be warned, the oil may be hot and this part can and most probably will get messy. Leave your oil to drain and leave the oil cap on your engine off, but still covering the hole to ensure no dirt falls in. Next step is to replace the oil filter. Pack a rag around the space where your oil filter sits to collect the oil leaks once the filter is removed, and unscrew it using an oil filter grip. However, you could use a chain wrench, sleeve type wrench or a strap wrench for the job. Clean around the thread and seal where the oil filter fits. Make sure any leftover seal is removed and clean the surface with a non-abrasive pad. And now it's time to unwrap your new, and in my case, Toyota Genuine oil filter. It's important to spend the extra money and get the filters that are made by the manufacturers themselves. Non-gen filters suck, pun intended. Stick a bit of oil around the thread and pour a little into the filter and let it soak in for a few minutes. Repeat if necessary until the filter has soaked up oil and it starts to pool at the bottom, and screw them on. You can screw it on tight by hand or leave it at that, or use an oil filter grip, but don't over tighten it. We stuck the oil in. Yeah. We waited for how long? It was half a beer, is it? Yeah.
Till it soaked the oil up.
Soak the oil up, screw her back on.
Alright, about half a turn. Once it's tight. pretty good. Just got to wipe it around.
To finish off the oil change, you'll of course need to replace the oil that you just dumped. Pour the new oil into the filler hole on top of your engine. Pour a cup or so through, helping to push any old oil or gunk through the sump hole, and then replace the sump plug, making sure it's tight. And then slowly pour the remaining oil, making sure it's going into the engine. Wipe up any spills with a rag as you go. It's important not to overfill your engine, as doing so can result in oil leaks, as well as air making its way into your oil, which potentially means damage. One way of avoiding this is to only fill your engine to within 1 litre of its capacity. My Hilux's engine has an oil capacity of 6.9 litres with the filter installed. So by putting 6 litres in, I know I'm not going to overfill my engine. Once that's done, replace the oil filler cap, tighten her up. Next job is to replace the fuel filter. Australia is one of those countries with filthy fuel, so it's no surprise that my filter was well and truly past its use-by date.
Oh, there's mud coming out of it, Daniel.
Unplug the 2 wire harnesses connected to the pump casing and slacken the ring holding the primer pump to the fuel canister.
Well, there's been a lot of water in this engine by accident.
We lifted the primer pump assembly up and removed the filter cartridge from the primer.
Oh my god.
One of the worst.
Full of water, mate.
Now when we got to the filter cartridge, boy were we surprised by what we found.
Look how close your float is to actually switching on. It's nearly at the top, we're giving you a warning. You're gonna have to suck that fuel out of it.
Again, we're using Toyota genuine parts here. Don't skimp on quality.
See how the filter's almost coming away? Coming
Yeah,
apart?
yeah.
You know, look at that. That new fuel system, man. Don't use non-gen. Look at that. That's just epoxy. So I'm just gonna leave that. We're gonna get... Look at all the crap in it, bro. See it floating, the black?
Yeah.
We're gonna suck all that out.
So Matty, we've just cleaned up a filthy fuel filter, haven't we?
Yep.
Full of water.
Yep. And contaminant, black contaminant.
Which doesn't make me too happy with I won't mention who's been doing my servicing, but I've always...
We haven't been cleaning the filter or changing it because the filter's coming apart itself.
I've always praised him, but like Matty says, he only trusts himself doing it. I don't know how to do it because, you know, I'm a good ironer. But yeah, that's kind of an eye-opener. It's a lot cleaner than it was. That was full of gunk.
Yeah.
Which has probably cost me by wear and tear on my car.
Probably. Oh, look at it down there though, in that back corner.
Still got some?
Yeah. See the
They're still going. And then we have the Toyota genuine fuel filter to replace the non-genuine.
Hadn't got through it too badly though. It's doing its job. And this one we don't grease. That's your old.
Now what are we looking at comparison wise with a Toyota genuine? The
Well, same shape. A bigger O-ring on it to seal a bit better. But the filter material is physically coming apart on this.
yeah, that's sort of reminiscent of the cheap fish tank filters that you get.
a bit, eh? But yeah, you could literally drag that apart. It's not very good quality. Not what you want to see.
Replace the rubber ring on the canister with the new one that should be supplied with the new filter. Insert the filter cartridge, replace the primer pump on top of the canister and tighten the ring to secure the primer pump.
Not too tight that you can't undo it.
Bingo.
Okay, grey plug in the side goes back. We'll just clean the plugs because fuel goes in them. So clean them. just in case we splash some fuel in there. Okay, he's back together.
Next step is to bleed the fuel filter by repeatedly pressing on the top of the pump until it gets hard to press.
It's like CPR.
So we've done the service, start her up now, give it a check. No leaks. Nothing coming out from the oil filter. Nothing coming out from the fuel filter.
Grab a can of degreaser and dump the whole can under the hood. Make sure you spray into all the stubborn, hard to reach places and spend the majority of your time spraying the radiator and cooling system, as this is a location most dirt and dust is going to accumulate. And next, grab a can of lubricant like inox and spray the entire contents over your engine. The degreaser will loosen any junk. In my case, this made my belt squeal loudly as the junk from my rad passed through. A good dose of inox sprayed at the right angle to get under my belt and the noise was gone.
So there you have it. Car serviced, cost about 150 bucks to do the all the filters and the oil and that sort of thing, which is a darn sight cheaper than going to the mechanics. It's handy that I've got a brother that knows what he's doing. But if you are umming and ahhing whether to do your own servicing, give it a crack. I mean, if you do find something that's out of your comfort zone, we'll take it to a mechanic. But it's interesting to, I mean, get a look under your car and see the sort of punishment that you put it through, what wear and tear that you're doing to your car. We did find water in the fuel filter, which isn't a good thing. But I mean, I was quoted around the $350, $400 mark for my service, and there are a few things that I wasn't able to do. My brakes and I need to rotate my tyres, but it is a great experience, even if you're just getting used to changing your oil. It's something that I'm definitely going to be doing regularly from now on. I sort of haven't been doing it. Now my car's getting on a bit, it's 2012 model. I should be starting to change my oil more and more regularly from now on. And if you think about it, what you're paying for oil, you're making up for in costly repairs down the track, and also you're saving on the fuel because it's more economical to have a well-oiled car. Just been so busy at the moment that getting out for a decent 4B somewhere has been really hard, but I'm working on it, and hopefully be smashing it up down south over the summer period. Oh, how'd you boys get in there? Well, just done the car service. How about we go for a road trip and get on the beach for Christmas? Yeah, let's do it. I'll see you all again very soon on Epic Drives Western Australia. Catch up.